Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the only referral podcast where you can get real stories of real people getting real referrals. Every week we share inspiring stories and practical tips from people like you to take your repeat and referral business to the next level. I invite you to join our free private Facebook group. Go to joingengen.com. That's joingengen.com, and we'll add you to our referral group. I'm your host, Michael J. Maher, and I'm so excited to share today's episode with you. So let's get started. Episode of Referrals Podcast, and no big giant intro today. We are going to cut right to the chase. Today is another episode where we are going to do what I would call like a short take. We are going to give you a short, powerful strategy that you can literally put into place today and get referrals straight from my book, 7L, the 7 Levels of Communication, Go from Relationships to Referrals. How do you go from having relationships to getting referrals? I'm going to share with you one of the strategies that agents are using and lenders are using, and I just thought of a couple other people that are even outside of real estate that are using this strategy to generate referrals, and it can be used in so many different ways that I call it, straight from the title of today's episode, the Swiss Army knife of referral generation. That's what we're going to talk about today, is the Swiss Army knife of referrals. And here is I feel like this is Batman and Robin. I think maybe she's more Batman and I'm more Robin, but I have my wonderful wife and producer of Referrals Podcast and COO of Referco here, Sheri Maher. Welcome to Referrals Podcast again.
Thanks for having me again.
Does it feel like you see a lot of these because you get to watch through the videos and edit them and tweak them and so on and so forth? Does it feel better to be in front of the camera or behind the camera?
Well, I always prefer to be behind.
Which is very interesting, because I was always told that I have a face for radio. And you have a face for video. What many people don't know about you is that you were actually in commercials in Kansas City.
I'm editing this out. What?
No, you're not. No, will you do the hair flip? Will you do the hair flip? Oh, I'm telling you right now, if you guys have been listening to the podcast as we've been doing these and you've never gone to YouTube, just for the hair flip that you saw, you need to go to the YouTube channel, Get Referrals, and check out the Sheri L. Maher famous hair flip from hair commercials in the Kansas City area. So today we're talking about one of my favorite subjects. It's under what I would call kind of the triangle of trust series of thoughts. And I want to just kind of touch on the triangle of trust as a concept and then drive into how we can use this to generate referrals from it. And I'm actually going to do this in some periodic episodes over the next couple of months. We had a record-setting quarter. Sheri had a record-setting quarter. Referco had a record-setting quarter. We have agents who are newer or in what I would call launch mode, who are now number one in their office because of implementing the referral mastery system. And I have to tell you that literally like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was just in this really weird spot that like our clients are doing awesome, and the general population of realtors are talking about doom and gloom. And I had to step out of Referco and I had to go look around, and it's like, why is this? Because here's the thing, I'm speaking on May 18th. This is the first speaking engagement all year. I only speak 3 or 4 times a year. I'm going to Orlando, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Aaron Luden is having a large event down there. Can't wait to go back to Orlando. That's one of our stomping grounds, and We coach a lot of people in Florida, and we have the opportunity to meet and greet them, and also give them some new content. So I'm excited about that. But I really wanted to get a feel for the general population of realtors and lenders, and honestly, sales in general, because we're not seeing it within my tribe of trust and Sheri's tribe of trust, our tribe of trust, the generosity generation. We're we're not seeing the struggles as much. So so what's different? And that's kind of what led me to what's really different is this emphasis on the triangle of trust and the non-direct approach, and that people are looking for people they can trust more than ever. The dip in the market has really hurt the discounters. It's really hurt the internet lead generation. It's really hurt the people who sell leads to realtors and lenders. It's really hurt them because they're trying to sell them to multiple people. Like one buyer lead on Zillow can be sold to 10 or 20 different realtors. And on the lender side, it's the same way. So you're fighting for less to make less money. So it doesn't make sense. So what are we doing? We're getting a lot of referrals and we're getting a lot of repeat business. And how is that happening? It's the triangle of trust. And the triangle of trust, it fits under this philosophy that I write about in 7L called the inward rule. And the inward rule is that we are not going to look to strangers to add them to our tribe of trust. We're not going to grow outward in. We're not going to try to convert strangers to friends. What we're going to do is we're going to grow inside out. We're going to take the people we know and have them introduce, connect, and refer us to the people they know. And at first glance, you might think that's going to be slower growth because there's more people that are out here, strangers, than there are that you know. Well, the difference is trying to convert a stranger in today's environment is almost impossible. It takes a lot of time, energy, effort, and money. Whereas converting a friend of a friend is easy because of the triangle of trust. So you need to grow your tribe of trust with the triangle of trust. What is the triangle of trust? If you drew a triangle, the top of it would be you. You're at the top of the triangle. At the lower left-hand part of the triangle, that is a friend of yours or an ambassador or somebody you know. And at the other triangle is someone they know. So please notice the person you know, let's call it an A plus, right? That ambassador, the A plus, knows you and trusts you. So there is a bold line of trust between the two of you. The friend of the A plus trusts the A plus. There's a bold line of trust between the two of them. Well, you get introduced, there's already a dotted line between you and the friend. You already have a good start that is based on trust, and all you have to do is, with character, competence, and communication, win them over and bold the line between you and the friend or the referral. Well, that's easier to do because you have this baseline of trust, and it's faster, it's easier, it takes less energy, it takes less effort. They'll actually do the things that you ask them to do, so they'll go through the process faster. So it's faster to grow with the inward rule and grow your tribe of trust inside out than it is to try to convert a million strangers. You're like, well, there's people out there, well, you're supposed to add 3 to 5 people to your database a day or a week or whatever. And it's like, well, who are these people? It's like, well, they're strangers. Why don't you just go buy a million list, a million email list? Why don't you just go buy a million person list if that's going to be your strategy of converting strangers? And it's like, that's why there's a real estate company I know who sells my email address to millions of people and makes money off of it. Then they try to market to me, and I get mad every single email I get. Like who is that serving? I mean, that doesn't. That's like, I mean, it's like that's like spam squared. It's awful, right? So how do we avoid the spamming and the attacking strangers and trying to convert strangers when we really need to speak with friends? And that is the inward rule, and that is the triangle of trust.
Well,
So
and
how do
like what
yeah.
I always say too is like, people say, well, I've only got 150 people in my database right now. And so when you really focus on 150 people, what I always say is, okay, well, if all 150 of those people today gave you a referral, would that change your business? Of course it would. So you don't need 5,000 Zillow leads a month. What you need is to take care of the people that you already know, that
Hmm.
already know, like, and trust you, because that's the truth. Like that's life changing. That's business changing. It's life changing. Why not get a referral from the 150 people that you do know?
Yeah, and they know someone. They know 3 to 6 people a year, most
Mhm.
likely, right? So here's the other thing is what if you got all 150 people to introduce you to one person today, right? Or this week or this
Mhm.
month. You double your database in a month pretty easily, right? But here's where it gets really cool is those 150 know 150 other people,
Mhm.
right? On average, according to
Yeah.
Professor Dunbar. And I would say that number's maybe creeped up a little bit over the years because of social media.
Yeah.
But, that's where it gets really good because every you're a community of 150 and you've got everybody that knows 150, all of a sudden you've really got a city of 22,500 just in those first two contacts, right? So
Right.
it's very powerful, very very effective. It really does. It's the power of like a multi-level marketing or the power of those kind of things is it just rapidly mushrooms and grows a big network, and that's how I grew my network and my net worth. And your network is your net worth in many cases. And the thing is but if your network is a bunch of loose ties and dotted lines and open lines, your net is very weak. But I'd rather have a net of 150 really strong connections over a net with 20,000 emails that you bought from Zillow or somewhere else, right? So the the other thing too that I love about that is you brought up a really good, we have a mechanism, we have a system that actually gives you the opportunity to possibly get a referral from every one of those 150 people in one day. We have a system for that. And in fact, you and I just had this experience with a new coaching client who had her first event with us, and there were over 100 people at her first event. And, there was an opportunity for 100 plus referrals in one day, which
Mhm.
is really cool. And just she also generated a lot of referrals for her sponsors and partners as well, which was it was really cool to go and experience it firsthand in your own neighborhood. So that was cool. So, all right, the first strategy under the triangle of trust is I want to just say from a advertising perspective, the power of a triangle of trust is the third party endorsement. So if you were doing advertising, you would want to have a testimonial. It's more powerful to have someone else speak on your behalf than it is for you to speak on your behalf. So the triangle of trust is an indirect approach instead of the direct approach. Many people talk about the direct approach of sales, which is like going up to a pretty girl and asking her for a date, which I did with Sheri, and she instantly shut me down, which is a story for another day for most of you. And I got her eventually, which shows resilience, persistence, and other good things, I'm sure. It definitely proves my sales skills. So, but the thing is maybe the direct approach isn't the right approach. So maybe the middle schoolers had it right. How do they ask for someone to go to a dance or something? They have someone else go ask,
Go ask.
do you like Max? Right? And if the answer is yes, then then
Yeah.
Max gets an introduction with whoever that might be, right? And I've seen this at Altitude, which is one of the places they hang out, which is do you like and it's like, oh, I kind of like so then it's like it becomes an introduction. But the best way to grow your sphere and grow your opportunities is through an introduction or a connection or a referral. So having someone else speak on your behalf and using the indirect approach. So endorsements and testimonials in your advertising are key. Instead of you doing a video, what if one of your clients did a video talking about you and talking about how their lives were changed, right? Tony Robbins is a great guy, and he's a top-notch speaker. But there's actually a book that was written that says, "Thank you, Tony Robbins." That was written by one of his clients. And that was one of the most interesting books I've ever read, because it was somebody talking about how their life changed with learning through Tony Robbins. Which is more powerful, right? It's definitely the third party endorsement. So, and the next part of this is direct mail, right? So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the communication pyramid, and it's like, how does the triangle of trust apply to each of the different levels? And we're going to end at the second level. So advertising is using testimonials and endorsements. You've seen celebrity endorsements. What about using your client to endorse your product? And that's far better than you having to do something crazy, like some of these advertisers are trying to do ridiculous stuff to get attention. Whereas what people want to do is they really want to hear from your clients how the experience went instead of paid actors. So the next level is direct mail. And direct mail, this is where I implemented what we're going to focus on today. And then in future episodes, I'm going to talk about how to use this in electronic and handwritten notes, phone calls, events, and then one-to-one meetings, how to use the triangle of trust. So with direct mail, what we did is we did something called the Success Series. And the Success Series was 12 success stories of our clients. So it wasn't, we had more than 12. We were averaging over 200 transactions a year, right? So we had a lot of these stories, but we could handpick maybe 12 of those. And we sent out one a month to our database. And we also used those stories in about 6,000 different ways. So what I want to do now is I just want to cover the 7 steps to a successful success story. And listen, there is so much wisdom and brilliance packed into these 7 steps that I don't want you to overlook it. Right now, it's story branding, it's story selling, it's how to write a story, it's tell your story. By the way, nobody gives a crap about your story. Nobody cares about your story. They don't, until when? They don't care about your story until you hear their story. And when you want to hear their story, then all of a sudden they're open to hearing your story. So it's the same way with these 7 steps to a successful success story. This isn't about you. These success stories were not about me or me and Sheri or the Maher team. These success stories were about our clients and their success. So that's the first thought here is quit being braggadocio. Don't look into promotion. Don't look into marketing yourself. Don't market your clients' successes. You're not the hero. The client is the hero, and you're the guide in the story. And that is something we have to keep in mind the entire time. But I have to tell you, not only is that the right way to do it, it's far more effective. Because when your clients are successful, other people who are like them know that they'll be successful with you. You have to realize you're judged not on your success. You're judged on your client's success. So we need to write stories about our clients. That's the bottom line statement. So how do we do that? Step number 1, name and category. So who is the name of your client? If you don't want to necessarily use their full names, you can use initials, and you can use their first name and a last initial. You can get their permission to use their real names. And in all 12 of our stories, they were real names. So you're going to then figure out what is the category of client. So we have avatars in business, and we have categories. So in real estate, the categories are first-time home buyer, first-time home seller, second-time home buyer, move-up buyer, move-up seller. They're treasure home buyers. They're downsizers, 55-plus community people. There's relocation in. There's relocation out. There's investors. There's new home construction. There's new construction selling. So there's lots of different categories within it. I mean, and if you're a lender, there's VHS. There's not VHS anymore. By the way, we just converted a lot of VHS tapes to digital, and looking back to them, I really wish we hadn't done it. I should have just deleted it. It looks like freaking Bigfoot footage. Seriously, it's like, what is that? It's so blurry. So it's not VHS. It's
FHA.
It's FHA and VA is what I was thinking. So it's got FHA, it's VA, it's jumbo loans, it's the different types of first time mortgage.
Yeah.
Low down, it's mid down, 20% down. You've got a lot of options there. Now that's step 1. So write down the name and category. Now step 2 comes from the category. Is what is the worst case scenario for that category? So let's stay with first-time homebuyer. What is the worst thing that could ever happen to a first-time homebuyer? They could buy a money pit that they can't resell, or they would take a huge financial hit because it's a risky investment. What we have to do with a first-time homebuyer is get them into a smart investment, something safe. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal, and it doesn't need to be a fixer-upper. However, how many of us have had first-time home buyers that go, well, I don't mind a fixer-upper. And it's like, yeah, you do, right? No, it's like you're going to want to go to work. You're going to want to raise your kids. You're going to want to, have a dog. You're going to want to have time off and not have the home own you, right? And that is the truth. So the worst case scenario is a money pit, or ask the client, what was your biggest concern, worry, or frustration until we met? What was your biggest worry about buying your first home? I couldn't afford it. Whatever it was, right? And put that as part of your story. And then step number 3 is, what did you as the professional do or say to help them avoid the worst case scenario? So for a lot of our clients, the answer in our stories was we did a consultation. We sat down with them and we educated them on what makes a good investment, what is their best case scenario, and we helped them find a great investment. Then, number 4, what were the results? And that's where you just say what the result, after seeing 7 homes and multiple offer scenario. My first time home buyers got a phenomenal 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage, 2-story in a great neighborhood and a great school district that the appreciation has been solid for years. And it should be a very safe, wonderful home for their family for the next 3 to 5 years, which is how long people typically live in their first home. I'm very excited for them. And then step number 5. What did the client do or say to let you know that you did a good job? Well, this is where you get a testimonial from the client you're writing about and say, I'm putting it in an article I'm writing. What would you say about what we did? Right? And they say things, oh, it's a wonderful life experience with the Maher team and Michael. Or also, in many cases, our clients have referred us one, two, or three, or even 11 people before we've closed. And at that point, we can say, well, Davey and Vanessa enjoyed our services so much, they've already referred us 11 people. That's a really good thing to put in a success story if it's true, right? Then this is where we go from success story to making it attractive and bringing it back home. And step number 6 is you need to do a memory jogger sentence or ask for relevant referrals. So a sentence that I'm talking about in step 6, asking for relevant referrals, would be, so Davey and Vanessa bought their first home. Who is a first-time home buyer that you know? Perhaps someone living in their parents' basement, or someone who has a new job, or someone recently married, or someone who is currently renting. And then we're going to go to step number 7, which is the all-important call to action step. And the call to action is, whoever you're thinking about right now, please hit reply and tell us about your friend. Maybe we can help them, maybe we don't. But the bottom line is neither one of us will know if you don't hit reply and let us know about your friend. And that's the end of your 7 steps to a successful success story. And these are maybe two paragraphs thick, maybe 3 paragraphs. You've got maybe a picture of you and the client with a sold sign in that email. And ladies and gentlemen, that was our direct mail piece on a postcard, and that was our email. And we numbered the stories from 1 through 12. The first month, we emailed the 1 and we mailed the 12. And yes, during month 6, they got the same story by both. But you know what? You know how many people asked us about that or said anything about it? The answer is 0. So we had 12 success stories that we had all ready. We had them on a postcard with a picture. We had them in an email with a picture. And we had our success series done for the year. Very powerful. Please notice the triangle of trust aspect to this, that we're not talking about it. We're talking about our client success. And our clients have the opportunity to give us a testimonial in the structure of the success story. And please understand how valuable this Swiss Army knife tool is for your business, because once you have the success story done, you can put it on a postcard, you could put it in an email, you can put it on Facebook, you could put it in an ad, you could put it in you could relay it in a phone call, you could tell the story, you could put it in your buyer's consultation, you could put it in your listing presentation, you could put it on your website. And I will tell you that one of the most underutilized website aspects is testimonials and success stories. Do you have them on your website? That would be the first thing I'm going to ask you. Also, we can use these at events, right? We could have that person tell a little bit of their story. We could have the story on a placard. We could have the story somewhere, in the room. And the other thing too is you can use these in your one-to-one meetings very easily, because somebody says, yeah, I'm a first-time home buyer. You're like, oh my gosh, really? You really sound like Davey and Vanessa. Here's their story. Very, very powerful tool. Once you have one done, you will not believe how useful of a marketing and communication device a success story is. So, Sheri, you asked what we're seeing is a really powerful strategy this year. And that's what our clients are seeing as something that seems so stupid simple. And yet they're following the directions. They got one done. They sent it out and people are responding. And never before have I seen, maybe 2008, 2009, I've never seen a market where people want to work with people they trust and believe in more than it's almost like people are scammed to the point of they just want somebody to trust.
Yeah.
And our that's what I love about our clients is they're trustworthy. They're building their business on love, generosity, and appreciation, and people are trusting because they're trustworthy. So anyway, that's the 7 steps to a successful success story. Did I cover all of them?
Yes, you got all 7.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good that there are 7 steps in these 7 steps to a successful success story. What were you showing?
Do you remember this? Oh, you can't see it.
Yeah, it looks like a picture of a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
remember that old thing? I was
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah.
I was just wondering, I was just thinking like if this episode resonated with people, we have a secret little something maybe that we could share with them.
Yeah, I've got the way to do it. So joingengen.com,
Mm-hmm.
joingengen.com, and then post that you want the Swiss Army knife of referrals. And when you say that you want it, we'll give you a link to a private secret. It's not even searchable. We will give you a door, and that door will open a vault to at least 30 pre-written success stories
Mm-hmm.
for you. And I don't care if you're a realtor, a lender, I don't care if you're in solar, I don't care if you're in automobile sales. There is a success story for you, and you get to see all the samples. And not only that, these are from clients where I've edited them personally and narrowed them down and helped create the success story.
Yeah.
So we will open the vault to you if you go to joingengen.com. This is for some of you are already in GenGen, but if you're not, go in there and post that you want the Swiss Army knife of referrals. If you're a member and you've been a member for a while, post in there that you want the Swiss Army knife of referrals, and I will give you the key to the vault.
Yep.
I will give you the combination code, and I'll let you in, and you'll have access to lots and lots of examples. My only thought on that is it wouldn't be completely fair of you to just go in there, copy and paste, and send them out. that you need to at least tweak them a little bit.
Yeah.
To make them more familiar to you, your market, and your writing and your voice.
Yeah.
I would just say. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah.
So that's a really good gift. That's a medallion. That's $1 million medallion inside a vault gift, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
good. I like it.
all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit of a shorter episode today, but man, power packed. And literally, this might be the one you play over and over again, and the one you revisit as a reminder of how you could use the success stories you have, or a reminder to write a successful success story of a client that you helped. And the last thing I want to say on this, and I have to reiterate this with my clients all the time, is every closing in real estate is a success story. You could literally write one for every closing you or your brokerage have, and maybe you should. And maybe it should be part of your system that once it closes, you just automatically fill in the blanks for your success story and get their testimonial and just add to it over time, or you just use it over time and make that a part of your system. That's a nugget right there. That's something that you can automate and make really powerful. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we need to first of all say thank you so much, Sheri Maher, for being on here today. And thank you for your continued work with the podcast. We love you and we appreciate you. You're awesome.
Thank you.
And happy Mother's Day to you, Sheri, a great mother. And I know that we have a lot of mothers who listen to this, and almost all of the listeners have had a mother. So I just want you guys to know that I appreciate you, and happy Mother's Day. I hope everybody that is a mother has a great day, and all of you that celebrate Mother's Day, you do it upright. And I'm telling you, aren't you going to do it with love, generosity, and appreciation? You should, right? So have a great one, everybody. I appreciate you. And by the way, I do know what is in our next podcast already, and you're not going to want to miss it. You got to check this one out. You take today and you put that on top of it, you're going to be unstoppable. It's idiot proof, market proof, it's recession proof, it's 50 proof. I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means. It means alcohol with 25% alcohol or something. But anyway, I'm just telling you the proof is in the pudding, and there's alcohol in the pudding. So don't eat the pudding. So, all right, you guys rock. I appreciate all of you. We'll see you on the next episode of Referrals Podcast. As always, thank you for listening to the Referrals Podcast and reviewing the show on your favorite app. We read every single review, and I know many people read the reviews, and in some cases have even referred the people who have done reviews. And I give a shout out occasionally to the ones that I love the most. A very special thank you for sharing the show with other business people, salespeople, including realtors, lenders, warranty reps, title, and honestly, any business that wants and need referrals, and what business doesn't want repeat business and referral business. Every time you share the show, you're potentially changing someone's life, because they can go from pushy salespeople or trying to do business the traditional way to building a business based on love, generosity, and appreciation that floods them with referrals and repeat business. And when they go to bed at night, they can put their head on their pillow and relax, because they understand that they can have peace of mind about where their next piece of business comes from. Go to joingengen.com and we'll add you to our private Facebook group. That's joingengen.com, joingengen.com. We'd love to have you. And stay tuned for the next episode of Referrals Podcast.